Hey guys, I wanted to take in a minute to weigh in on the Crepo controversy with the leaks of his nude pictures from Snapchat. It looked like. Um, People are probably wondering, why the heck is Weldon weighing in this? Well, because I have very strong opinions about relationships and girlfriends in professional sport, and you might be thinking, Weldon's opposed to girlfriends in professional sport. No, I'm not making a crumbs video here. I will maybe at some point do a video about high performance relationships and what to look for and how to design them and how they function and how to know when you have one that's going to benefit your career and how you know you have one that's going to hinder your career as a high performance athlete, because it's not it because both of those are possible, right? You can have a relationship that hinders your career. You can have a relationship that actually amplifies your career, that you would be a better athlete if you do have this relationship than if you don't, and I have an example of that too. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about understanding the context of what's going on with esport and League of Legends pros and nude leaks, because I believe that there's going to be more coming. And it's not because I have insider information about nude leaks. It's because of this simple fact. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, these apps did not exist on the scale that they do now. Before, it was a lot of like Skype calls, right? It was calls through Skype or through video messaging or through text messaging, SMSs, where people were like having distance relationships. Now, if you have a distance relationship, which is a very common thing to have, in this world that we live in, where people are meeting online in ever more large numbers. If you have a distance relationship, it's very common to be communicating in this platform. And if you have a relationship where you build up trust and you meet the person, over a series of months, that you're going to be exchanging messages in this way. It's just going to happen. And no amount of like you as a fan, so I'm talking to the pros here and the fans, you as a fan should not probably be able to expect your idols at this point to not ever communicate in this way with their loved ones and their relationships, like online. Like, it's not practical, right? Like, every single person who has an online relationship, who's in their late teens, early 20s, is going to be communicating their body to their significant other, in this way. Kind of expected. And, a certain number of those are going to end up, those relationships are not going to last till marriage, or the trust is going to be broken, or the person is going to be a conniving person who's trying to go out to ruin your career and wants to like pretend to have a relationship with you and spend money to actually fly out to meet you, for months maybe, in order to get to that situation. I'm not saying that's what this person who did this to Crepo was doing. I don't know any of the details regarding that, but I can foresee this situation. Okay, and if you imagine, you can also foresee it. And so what you're going to see now is, because of this advent of these communication platforms and the way that relationships online are changing from online into on phone, this is going to be happening more and more and more. And I think that in 10 years, 15 years, just like how when I was growing up, the idea of people meeting on the internet was like taboo and just the most insane thing ever, and you'd look at them like they were pink elephants if two people said that they met online. In 10 years, if somebody has a nude leak, it's going to be almost passé, because it's going to be a common way that relationships happen, and it's going to be unfortunately a very common revenge tactic for people who are in relationships that go sour. And so I think that there's a number of things that pros maybe should do to protect themselves against that. Probably my top tips are: number one, only invest in a relationship like this where you have met the person, met them face to face, right? And built that kind of bond, whether they have invested money to come visit you, which is a good sign that they're serious about this relationship, or that you have invested money to come to them. You get to evaluate for real if this is the real connection, right? So I think that's the number one kind of sign for me that this would be a good step to take. And the second thing, of course, is if you're really, really scared, you can, and you really don't trust the person, then you can always do what I know people in social media consulting kind of warning classes to say, which is you use a throwaway account and you never show your face. because then you have plausible deniability to say like, oh, that's actually not me, and the name isn't attached to me in any way, so there you go. Unless you're married, and even if you are married, you don't know if the person ever is going to save it all and divorce you. Like, there's just no way of practically saying, never do this. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen that people are not going to communicate with their girlfriend or boyfriend in this way in the future. Okay, it's going to happen, which means leaks are going to happen, which means you need to think about when you enter a relationship, are you okay with that? And are you okay with just moving forward from it if some like absolute piece of trash like does this to you and leaks it all over the internet? And that's horrible, but you have two options. One is you never form a deep physical relationship with somebody by distance over the internet, or you force them to use live communication like Skype, which, by the way, they could record anyway, so what the heck? Or you just say like, oh, well, this is a risk I'm willing to take in order to have a nice relationship with somebody that satisfies me, and I'm just going to move forward. Like, I'm just going to step forward from it, because what the heck else can you do? And yeah, that's my take on the Crepa situation. And it really, really sucks, and it is amazingly lame to be in this situation. But I respect Crepa a lot for kind of understanding his own, his own limits and his own desires, and saying like, well, this is a risk I'm willing to take because this is the kind of relationship, that I want to have. And, if he's able to rebound from it and just move forward and accept it as a, completely crappy thing for another human being to do to somebody, and say like, well, I trusted the wrong person, but that doesn't mean that, I should never trust anybody again, then hopefully that's good. And for all of you out there who are thinking now of all of the nudes that are kind of like out on the internet or out on the phone of you, yeah, just understand that all of this is based on trust. And if you don't know the person, even if you know the person, you're right, there's a risk. So just kind of try to accept that this is going to be happening more and more in the future. Try to understand that there's going to be this risk, and that it's a risk that should be taken because relationships and love between people should happen, and that's just the way that it goes. You shouldn't avoid using the tools that are at our disposal to have wonderful relationships with people, and we shouldn't just like automatically assume that everybody's trash and they're gonna like ruin everything that you're doing with them and try to ruin your career just because they have some sort of spite or whatever. And thirdly, make a psychological plan of understanding that like, if this happens to you, if somebody betrays your trust in this way, that first of all, you're a pioneer. Congratulations. Like, this is going to be happening a lot more in the future. And secondly, the only thing you can do is just move forward into the next relationship and try to learn how to trust again, and maybe vet a little bit better. And that's all that you can do. So my heart goes out to you, Crepo. And if you're watching this vlog and I didn't send you a message individually on Twitter, and you're hearing it through the internet, through YouTube for the first time, I apologize. But anyway, now I'm publicly saying it. Keep your head up.